if you had that type of equipment, instead of it taking 2 hours, you'd get it done in 45 minutes or whatever, right? Cut in a third. So I put out a free pricing template based off of all of the, I think it's under 8,000 turf square feet property. Were you able to get your hands on that? All right. So yeah, let us know, or let me know, like a little bit, maybe little short clip background of kind of where you're at in business, and then start shooting them questions, and hopefully I can help you out here.
Yeah, so my name is Steven. I just turned 28, August 2nd. I live in Geneva, New York, which is like central, about an hour south of Rochester, if you know where that is. Um, I live in it's pretty small here, like my town. I have a couple neighboring cities and towns that are a little bit bigger, but I try to stay like in this general area. My business is fairly new. I think I officially started it probably like a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months now. So I only have like, I think 5 weekly mowing customers. And then I just did a mulch job on Sunday, that was a pretty good job. It took like 6 hours. So yeah, I have 5 weekly mowing customers that I do. I just bought a truck because I had everything in my car that I'm sitting in. I'm sitting in my Mazda 3, and I had my push mower. I have a DeWalt trimmer and a DeWalt blower, and I was putting it all in my car, driving from place to place, and people would look at me like I was crazy lifting this mower out of the back of my hatchback. But I was like, man, listen, I don't have a truck yet. I sort of had the money for one, but I didn't want to just buy the first one I saw. And then my father works at a car dealership, and this guy had an '03 Silverado with like 115,000 miles. He was trading that in to get a newer truck, and they were going to give him like $2,000 for the trade-in. So my father was like, listen, my son's looking for a truck. Let us buy it from you. He ended up getting him a better deal on the new truck he got. So I bought my truck for $1,700, an '03 Silverado with, I think it's got like 118,000 now. I've had it for like, I don't know, 3 weeks. And the thing needs nothing. It literally runs great. It's mint. The guy like babied it. He took care of it, real well. So I got that thing really cheap. Obviously, $1,700 for a truck that needs nothing is like unheard of. So now I have that. I got these 2 ramps, which I think are made for like 4-wheelers or something, but I use that to get the mower in and out of, which makes it so much easier. And I just built these walls on the side of the bed, so I can like when I put mulch and stuff in there and leaves and stuff, it stops it from blowing around as much. And I'll just like wrap a tarp over all of it. So that's made things a lot more, I can be more efficient now. It doesn't take me 10 minutes to get the stuff out of my car. Like I don't have many jobs as it is, but once I get to the point where I have a job each day or 2 or 3 every day, it's like I can't spend so much time getting all my stuff ready. I just want to be able to, eventually get a trailer and stuff. Or I'm thinking about the ramp rack, which I know some people have. So I do my business sort of part-time, like part-time when I have the time to do it. I work 2 other jobs. I work with the landscaper. We mostly just mow and stuff, but he also does landscaping. I work with him. I'm with him Wednesday and Thursday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Friday, I work with a contractor. So we do like plumbing, electrical stuff, carpentry, framing, like a bunch of, he gets all sorts of different jobs. So I'm with him 3 days, and then I'm with my friend Nick. He also owns like I said, he owns a landscaping company. So when I started working with him, I basically told him, I'm like, dude, I'm starting my own thing, so I'll come and work with you. But the deal is, I'm going to be asking you tons of questions, and I want you to basically show me how you started yours. And he agreed to that. And a lot of people don't have the patience to sit there and answer 1,000 questions each day we're in the truck. And I'm like, so how'd you get this customer? How'd you get that one? Tell me how this works. How do you, so not even just like the business aspect, like physically the mowers. I've worked with other landscapers probably since I was like 18 or 19. I'm 28 now. So I I know what I'm doing, but there's some things that I never had to do just being an employee. Like I never had to sharpen the blades. I never had to service the mowers to a certain point. Like I didn't really take care of that stuff. I just went into work, jumped on, grabbed the trimmer, did what I had to do, and then went home. And the other guy sort of took care of the stuff that you do as a business owner. So that's the stuff that I really needed help with. And he's helped me tremendously over the past, I think I've been with him for 5 weeks now, 5 or 6 weeks. And he's taught me a lot just about, all different types of things. So the other job that I have is sort of just to keep income. Like I do make money from my customers that I have, but it's really not enough to pay my rent, phone bill, credit card, like just, normal bills that everyone has. So I use him as a reference when it comes to pricing. And this mulch job that I just did, like I didn't know how much mulch she was going to need. So I videoed him and like showed him her beds, and he was, telling me what to charge per yard. And then, so I just thought, charge $100 per yard. But then he's like, you have to factor in gas because you're driving the truck to go pick up the mulch. Then you have to dump all the stuff. So I was like trimming some of her other things. And I didn't realize that I was going to have to take all the stuff with me and then dump it somewhere. I didn't put that into, like, I didn't send her the first estimate that I made, but I sent it to Nick and he was like, dude, that's super low. Like you might make money, but you need to. So that's been like my biggest problem, is being afraid to tell these people like, yeah, it's going to be $700. Cause like me, if someone told me that, I would be like, you are crazy. I'm not paying $700 for you to put some mulch in my bed. But these people do pay it. And like, that's a good price. The job I did on Sunday, it turned out to be like $750. And I fronted the mulch for her. So that was like $70. And I bought the plants. So I did really well on that one. But, and when I told her the estimate, I texted it to her and she was like, sounds great. I'll see you then. And I'm like, man, I probably could have told her like a little bit more. And I was so afraid that she was going to, be like, nope, too much. Sorry. And then she was totally fine with it. So I feel like the pricing thing is one of my biggest, like the biggest troubles that I'm having right now. And then also I'm using a Husqvarna push mower, which is like the only gas tool that I have right now. I'm trying to use like my trimmer, my blower are both electric. But my friend Nick has, we use Wrights. He has his one is a standard B, I think it's a 48, and then he has a bigger one. And I've been talking to him about buying that from him, but I don't really know if I need more than I have, but I don't need like a $6,000 standard for 5 mowing jobs a week. But it is to the point now where it's like this one house I do takes me about an hour. And I know that if I was using his mower, I could do it in like 10 minutes. So like it's to the point where I want to start being more efficient and do these properties faster so I can just, it's like I want to get more customers, but I almost am not even prepared for people to start calling me, because it's like with my 2 jobs and everything else that I'm doing, it's like I want to get to the point where I can leave one of the jobs and just like hopefully I can leave that carpentry thing and just do my own lawn care, and then work with him also doing lawn care landscaping. So that's a question I have. How long should I wait until I try to get a new mower? Should I get a trailer or should I get the ramp rack? It's like I bet I save like 98% of all the money I make, because I'd really like to invest, where it needs to go and get the right things. But I also don't want to just, I don't want to spend a bunch of money on, and that's one thing that I haven't done, is I didn't buy a brand new truck. I didn't buy a brand new mower before I had customers, because I watched 1,006 videos of, these people putting money into their business and they don't even have work yet to make money to pay this stuff back. And then they end up going negative and stuff. So I feel like that's something that I did do really well, is just kind of start from literally nothing. And just my first customer, I didn't even have a mower yet. I was like, yeah, I'll be here tomorrow. I didn't even have a mower. And then I went and bought the mower that night for like $100. And I've been using that ever since. So it does work well. It cuts really well, but it just takes forever because I'm just walking behind it. And it's really annoying because I'm out mowing with Nick, who is my friend with the business, and we're like cranking out, 15, 16, 20 yards a day sometimes. And then I go do my own and I'm just like, man, this sucks. And I want to have a bigger mower, but I'll keep the push mower because it is nice to get into like backyards and stuff when they're super small, like the entrance, the fence and stuff. But so yeah, that is a question that I have is the mower, and then the pricing thing. I do have a couple other things written down, but if you want to maybe, I don't want to talk your ear off the whole time. If you want to give me some feedback on just what I've said so far.
Yeah, absolutely. So to start, I think you're absolutely crushing the game right now. In the fact that you bought a used truck, used mower, used everything, right? You don't have all the significant amount of debt. I think you're with you saving 98% of what you're making, you are on the same exact path that we were on when we first started and still are, right? We don't ever even buy brand new trucks, none of that stuff. So keep up the good work on that. You're definitely crushing it in that factor. As far as let's see. So as far as the pricing goes, did you get a chance? So I put out a free pricing template based off of all of I think it's under 8,000 turf square feet property. Were you able to get your hands on that?
I did see that on one of the videos I was watching, but I don't think I did not download it yet. No.
Okay, I'll make sure that it's in the link, or I'll shoot you an email with that link there. It's completely free. I built a pricing template based off of our truck and equipment. It's like a short little course, but it has our actual blueprint for pricing that you can use, whether you want to charge 60 an hour, 70 an hour, 80 an hour, whatever per hour that you want. You could just plug and play there. And then if you have any questions on that, definitely let me know. And for anyone else that's watching, I'll put it in the link description below, completely free. So what I would say too, I was curious. So you said that you pump out 15 or 16 properties with the guy that you like normally work with, but then you've got some bigger properties that you have. I think your like vision for the type of properties is very wide. So it seems like you might have some really big properties, but then you might have some small properties. What is the majority size properties in your local area? If you were to drop a pin on your map and circle 5 mile radius closest to you, like what is the most average lawn size? Are they super rinky dinky small ones, big acre properties?
Yeah, my like direct area, they're pretty small. There are houses, on the like the outskirts of town here where they're a little bit bigger, but I would say like in my neighborhood, I like the most I would charge is probably like $40-50 for one of these. Some of the houses do have bigger yards, but mostly it's just a very small front yard, and then the backyards are a little bit bigger, but they're really not that big in my area. But like the first customer I got, he lives probably 10 minutes away, so it's a little bit bigger than my yard. I know you don't know like what my yard looks like, but yeah, they're not the biggest yards ever. I don't know exactly like acreage wise, but I like pricing wise, I would say, but my pricing might be different than the way that you price. I don't know exactly, but yeah, they're not very big.
What size mower do you think would be, best for that? Do you think it would be just a push mower on those small properties, or would you really need a zero turn on those?
So yeah, some of them I could definitely get away with just, push mowing really fast, and then others I feel like it would, like when I'm out with when I'm working with Nick and his customers, like if I some of the yards that we do, if I pictured myself there with a push mower, it would take me 3 hours. But with his 48 stander, it's like, we get it done in 15-20 minutes. So it really depends. Some of the properties are bigger, and then some of them take 5 minutes, and then sometimes we're there for an hour. But he has this one, it's probably, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 acres. So we're both using the mowers, and it still takes quite a while. So um
Yeah. And that's good information. What I would do, since you said that if you were to drop a pin where you're at 5 mile radius, you said the majority of those properties are pretty small. That's what I would lean into. I would focus on that. You already have the mower for it. You don't need this big truck and trailer, 48-inch zero turn that costs 5, 10, $15,000. There's a lot of capital to get going. What I would do is you might have some really big properties now. I don't necessarily would say to just cut them dry right now and let them loose. You have the time while you're not working. I would just keep them. It's going this kind of stink of going out there and actually push mowing it for an hour or 2 hours if it's a 1 acre property, half-acre property, whatever. But I wouldn't take any more of those larger properties on at all. I would just service what you have, kind of grandfather those bigger ones in, and then really start to shift your focus to those smaller cookie cutter properties that are right in your area, because that's what's going to be your sweet spot that you could start to build a decent route out, get 5, 10, 15 properties, and you can pump them out in a day or two, right? That's going to be your sweet spot where you can charge 40, 50 bucks. And then that's the type of equipment you have. There's a lot less overhead capital expenses trying to get in. Again, you don't need a big truck and trailer. You can literally get from Harbor Freight, if you have those in that area, you can get like a little cargo carrier hitch that goes right into the ball of the hitch on your truck. They're like 120 bucks. And you
Yeah.
don't have to buy, you don't have to pay $3,000 for this big trailer. That's what I would recommend. Since you answered that most of them are those smaller ones. That's what I think a lot of people struggle with in the beginning phases, is figuring out your ideal customer, right? For us in our business, we've done 630,000 in at our Aubrey location. We did have some really big properties that we used to push mow. We had 30 inches. And then we realized, hey, that's not majority of our customers. So we need to get rid of them. And over time, we didn't cut them all out at once. We let some grandfathered in, but then we said, you know what, if anybody else calls, that's not really our type of property that we want. And then you start to shift back over to kind of what your sweet spot is. That kind of goes back to the asset utilization. If you did decide to do those larger properties, which I probably would not recommend, because you said you just told me right now that they're not majority of it. If that be the case, if you were to go out and get a 32-inch stand on or even a 48-inch, that equipment is not going to be used as much as you probably think. Because just like you said, if you had that type of equipment, instead of it taking 2 hours, you'd get it done in 45 minutes or whatever, right? Cut in a third. But then you don't have any other of those other larger properties. So what else? So what is it going to do? It's just going to sit in the garage or sit, in the shop or storage area. Majority of the time, really not making money. So you're going to go out and spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 on a used zero turn for it to kind of just sit there. You know what I mean? So asset utilization is something that you definitely want to think about. That's what we think about. Anytime we're going to buy a piece of equipment, I ask myself, how many hours out of the week is this thing going to get used? Because if it's only going to get used for a quarter of a day for the entire week, I will either figure out we'll push through and just use a 21-inch mower, or B, I'm going to get rid of that property. If the guys keep complaining about it and they're like, dude, it's so big, we need a big zero turn. Okay, that's fine, because I'm not going to buy a zero turn for 1 or 2 or 3 large properties, because that's not what our properties are. We're similar to you. You drop a pin, 5-mile radius, they're all these little cookie cutter properties, 21-inch mowers. That's all you need. Now, there are some big corner ones that are kind of bigger, but again, we just put parameters in place that say, hey, if it's over 8,000 square feet, we're not gonna take it on, even if it's in the same neighborhood that we service, even if it's just, because I don't want to really hear it from the guys complaining about how big the lot is. And there's nothing like being out there when it's 110 degrees and you're pushing mowing a really large corner lot or something like that. We just decide, hey, we're just going to tell a customer it's too large. And that's happened. Like the ones on a cul-de-sac that have these really big pie-shaped lots, dude, they're like a third of an acre. And we're just like, hey, you're in our neighborhood that we service. It's just too big, So just understanding and really defining what your perfect clientele is and leaning into that. So it seems like, that's probably what I would recommend.
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking, like, even if, most of these places like right near me, even if I had the 48 stander, I could probably still use it on those smaller ones, but it might take me 10 minutes, whereas the push mower would probably take 18, 20 minutes. Like, it's really not these smaller, like the cookie cutter ones you're talking about. It kind of sucks having to use the push mower, but it really doesn't. It's the big ones that drop down the cut time dramatically. These small ones, like, I could still use the zero turn on them, but it just doesn't really make sense to, when I could do it in just not as fast, but not, that much longer with the push mower that is way cheaper and less overhead. Like you said, it doesn't cost as much to run that thing. I put a little bit of gas in it. It runs for a while. These zero turns that Nick has, he's putting like, I see the amount of gas that he has to put in them every week, and it's just like, damn. Like he does cut a lot with them, but another thing I was going to say, what was I going to ask you? So you guys use just push mowers, or just you do have zero turns, but you don't use them as much, you're saying?
We only have 21-inch push mowers.
Is that the average size for like a residential push mower?
Yeah.
Okay, because
21
I was
inches.
thinking like the one property I was talking about, like I probably don't need a big zero turn for it, but if I could at least get like, I'm fine with like walking behind a mower for now. One of Nick's things is that like he told me, he's like, I never wanted to have to push mow. That's my biggest rule. I don't push mow. And I'm like, dude, so me like just starting out, like I'm not, I'll do whatever I have to do just to get customers and start making money. But I was thinking if I maybe got like, not $5,000 on a big zero turn, but maybe like a bigger walk behind just to, I'm not sure if that would make any difference, because I know that there are some decent walk behinds that, aren't that expensive, but maybe that would help a little. Or I could just focus more, like you're saying, on the like smaller properties near me. If I could get like my direct neighborhood, there's probably 300, maybe more just in my like little area, and then there's probably 6, 7, other neighborhoods around me. So if I could just get, 5, 6 of those each day for the week, I feel like I would be, good for a while. So I want to let you finish what you were talking about, but I have these door hangers that I bought, and I think I maybe put like 2 of them out. But that's another thing, is the like advertising and marketing and stuff. I haven't put much money into it at all, just because I don't want to start buying stuff until I have like a really good plan on what I want to do. Like I will wait and just kind of really focus and watch. I YouTube everything before I bought the mower, before I bought the trimmer. Like I watched review videos, people, every single thing I could think of. I will Google and YouTube and ask around and read Reddit, all types of things before I put money into something. So that's another thing that took me a while to finally get these door hangers designed on Fiverr. I was trying to get like the best price that I could for someone to design one, and then I, on Vistaprint to actually order them. But I can show you one really fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the front is basically just like, I think it has, yeah, it's my name, but I don't know if it's backwards on your screen. It might be reversed. But
Looks good. Yeah, looks
yeah,
really good.
phone number, and then like my little logo thing. But then on the back, I did like the instant quote type thing, like the weekly, bi-weekly. But I almost didn't want to do that, because then it's like giving them an option of bi-weekly, and I would rather them not even. I don't want to be like, so I could do this each week or every other week. I just want to give them a price, like what it's going to be every week, and then just, it's like you give them too many options, and then they have more of a chance to say something you don't want or don't like as much.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then I just have like the text, the photo of this for their information. So I actually did get one person to take a picture of this, and I think she texted it to me. But I bought like 500 of these, and now I'm like, man, I probably shouldn't have. Like they're not. I was thinking I was gonna go out and kind of put them all out and get a bunch of calls, and then I don't know, like should I like at first I was like, I'm just gonna find houses that look like they need to be serviced and then drop one down, and then but then people are saying like, that's gonna attract types of customers that you may not want, because it's like I don't know what they even meant when they said that, but I don't know what your idea on door hangers are. And should I just go around and put them on every house and be like super annoying with it, or just really try to find like ones that I want, or ones that look like they haven't been caught in a while? Or
I think that's a good start, is that whoever said that, I kind of hear what they're saying, but at the end of the day, like we're in it to make money, and if there's a need, we're here to help, right? We're here to service it. So if it's looking a little long, I would definitely throw a door hanger up there of like what it would be, right? Another good tactic is your existing customers that you have right now. If you're mowing it, I would do it on the 5 surrounding houses. That way you can, because they're already going to see your truck there. They're already going to see you there. They probably talk to their neighbor. Oh yeah, I'm using, you know, you and your services and everything like that. So that'll help build that route density. And what I would also do is the closest area to your shop, garage, wherever you're living right now, I would hit every single house in that neighborhood with a flyer. That's where you should start. The closest, because that's going to have the least amount of drive, the least amount of window time where you're not making money to drive places, to where you could literally walk a block or two and cut a lawn. Like you don't even need that per se of like having to drive long areas. But as far as the weekly and biweekly thing, you're so in the beginning phases, you need to kind of try to do it and fail and figure out what works for you, right? And so I think that's what you're doing now, which is good. You're taking on bigger properties, you're taking on smaller properties, you're taking on medium-sized properties, and you're figuring out, hey, like, what do I want to do? Do I want to go heavy on the big commercial properties, or like the zero-turn properties, or do I want to stay small and do small residentials, right? You're still kind of figuring that out and learning. So I think in the stage that you're at, you probably aren't going to know, hey, do I just want weekly or do I just want biweekly? I'd offer both of them and then see what type of customers are better for you. Maybe if you find that the weekly customers pick up more of the dog waste, they actually pay on time and the biweeklies don't. Then after maybe a few months or a year of doing this, you're like, hey, you know what? This season, I'm going to get rid of the biweeklies. I'm only going to do weekly. Then you can kind of evolve and change. You don't need to know everything right at the beginning per se, But I did want to go back on the zero turn thing. So I know you said that you could probably use some of that zero turn on those smaller properties. Just be mindful of this because we actually looked at purchasing a 32-inch zero turn, similar to like a Right Stander or a Skag. But the problem with that is, number one, I was actually buying it from somebody who was in a similar neighborhood than myself and owned a lawn care company. And I was like, hey, wait, why are you getting rid of this 32-inch mower? And he said, because you're doing more turning on the property than you are actually mowing. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. So he lived in the same kind of neighborhood as myself and my properties. And I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. The other thing is those are very, very big pieces of equipment that are very heavy. So if there's rainfall, the time duration that you have to wait after a heavy rainfall is going to be longer than it is with a smaller push mower because you're going to rut up the lawns a lot quicker because of the weight when it's turning on those wheels. So just be mindful of that. A good hybrid in the middle is, instead of maybe getting a 48 zero turn or a 32 or something like that, I know they make 30-inch push mowers. So that gets you a little bit wider deck that would help speed things up if you do have a bit of a larger property. And that would allow you to, cut down on some time. And it's not as heavy as a big zero turn per se, but definitely some options out there for you.
Another question, this is just a quick one. I was wondering, do you guys bag where you cut? Because when I'm working with Nick, like he says that he never bags and like takes the grass with him. It's sort of just normal around here not to bag. But I'm thinking back to when I first started landscaping. Like I live in central New York now, but I grew up in like Albany area, Schenectady over there. And I'm thinking like every house that we did, I definitely brought a trash can out with, or like, the barrels, and I would bag, I think, almost every one. So maybe it's just different areas people expect it, or that's something that I didn't know either.
Yeah, it's definitely different areas. I know up in like Seattle, Washington with Mike Andes, like they're always bagging their properties. Down here in Texas, where we are at, hey guys, wanted to take a quick second here. So I don't ask or promote anything on this channel or sell anything directly to you guys. I provide this value completely free to you, and hopefully it helps grow and achieve greater success in your business. But what I wanted to ask from you is if you could click that subscribe button and share this video with someone, an entrepreneur in the lawn care industry that you feel could benefit from this content. More importantly, it may change someone's future. We'll see you guys here in a bit. So we don't ever bag. In fact, and here's what we tell the customer because we don't bag. When we're fertilizing the lawns, it actually produces little seeds for the grass. And so what we do is when the mower comes through and mulches it up underneath the deck, we want those seeds to go back into the lawn so that way it can reproduce and get nice and thick and healthy. Obviously, if you're not offering weed control or fertilization or licensed in that, obviously you wouldn't be able to sell that per se yet. But yeah, in our area, it's very common to not bag. So probably up where you're at currently, if he's saying he doesn't bag and he's been doing it for a while, that's probably the norm.
Okay, yeah, I do know that it's better, like healthier for the grass to not bag it, but I just know that certain people, like this one lady that I do, is just she was insisting that I bagged it. She didn't want to have the grass because she goes out and walks barefoot. So like that's and I charge her, wait, it's $80 for her yard is quite a bit. It's not huge, but compared to the houses on my street, it's a little bit bigger. And her front yard it's a pretty steep hill, and she has these beds on the hill, so it's just half of it I can't even mow. I have to weed whack like the whole thing, and I have to bag it all. So that's an $80 job right there, which is it's nice to have, but it's kind of a pain. But yeah, the grass collection, I wanted to ask you that. So yeah, it would be nice to not have to bag, and if I could just get a bunch of more of the smaller houses in my local area, like you said, if I could pull up on the street over, park the truck, take my mower off, and have 5 houses on that street, and just I don't even have to load the mower, and I could do them way faster and just be a lot more efficient. So that would be a goal of mine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, route density is key. That's why I'd focus on the closest area that your residence is at. There's no need to drive and go hit those other neighborhoods. Start right where you're at, and that'll be a good start for you.
Okay. Another thing is, like, I showed you my door hanger, and I do have a logo that I made, and so I have these 2x8s, two by 8s, kind of drilled into these smaller pieces of wood that's in the back of my truck. Should I put like signs on the truck itself, or should I not really worry about that right now?
I would recommend doing vinyl if you have the money to do so. Phenomenal investment. As far as like marketing, especially when you're just starting out, because you're like a moving billboard. When that truck is out driving around, like you'll be surprised. It's a one-time fee. So I think we pay like $450 to get decals on the side. And all it is our logo and our name and phone number or website. But that you pay it one time. The logo should last 3 or 4 years, at least 3 or 4 seasons. And you will get a lot of calls. It's not all at once, but over time, when they see the truck constantly mowing that same property each week, you're going to start to build somewhat of a brand. So I probably wouldn't do it on the wood because those are more temporary per se. You may take those off, you may not, depending on your setup and as you evolve and put like rack system on the side or whatever. But I would definitely, I know some people get magnets. So we got, I think, a magnet in the beginning days, but I don't think it really produced much calls. Magnets are just kind of like, I don't know, they're not as professional as like actual vinyl stickers. Uh,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what you meant when you said vinyl. It's like I know what it is, but I don't really know what you mean on a truck.
so it's basically like any type of like company vehicle that you see that on the side, it says like State Farm
Like
or
wrapped?
it's not a full wrap. I wouldn't recommend getting a full wrap. It's just like a cutout of words or a picture, and then
Oh,
it gets pasted on the door, and it looks really professional, really good, and it's way cheaper than getting a full wrap, and it's more professional than just getting like a magnet, you know.
yeah. So it's not like a sign like with stuff inside. It's just like the words on the truck.
Correct. Cut out to the design. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Another thing is like my truck is kind of old, and like I don't know if it's gonna look silly putting like this nice vinyl logo, phone number, and stuff on it. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's gonna.
Um,
It's a nice looking truck, but like for in 2023, like it's a 20-year-old truck, so like it's way older than most trucks that are out there. Not, some of them. It's a nice truck, like I said, but it is older, so I don't know if that'll look.
at the very least, and I hear what you're saying. You may be upgrading here in maybe a year or two or whatever. At the very least, I'd put the phone number on it. You give them an accessible way to call you, and when they see you out mowing or whatever, if that's going to be your like truck that you're using for work, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
If it's like
because
a
when I pull up,
daily driver,
yeah, when I pull up and I do like when I pull up to a job and I'm starting to mow, like people are always looking at me, like watching me get my stuff out, driving by, look. So it'd be nice for them to look over and be like, oh, you know, that's the company and that's the phone number. So it would.
and it's not super expensive. I would just get a couple quotes locally in your area. Um,
That's yeah. I was gonna. You said you have a like you pay a fee, but is that something you do online or you have like a local place near you?
Yeah, we just use a local place. They're called like Skylar signs. Um, you can just look up vinyl truck logo near me. Um, and yeah, I would just get a couple quotes. They'll measure your truck door and how big you want it, and just make the phone number real big on the back end of it. And then yeah, if you have a logo, I'd put it on the doors on each side, and that'll start to get you calls um regularly, you know. Now in the wintertime, you're probably not gonna get as many, but I'm telling you, come springtime next year, that will get you calls. Like people will be looking out the window once they hear that mower going, take a picture of it, and then they'll start to call you. But that'll definitely help. So I've got, I think maybe like a couple more minutes. So do you have any like other key kind of pressing questions that you've got for me, or
Um, yeah, sort of. Should I try to do snow removal this year with the truck, or should I just try to stick with my other part, like the one job I won't do because it's longer, but my contracting plumbing thing that I do, I don't get paid that much, but it is income. Or should I try to learn how to snowplow, which I've never done before, and try to do that? Because I'm
I've
worried it's gonna be super slow, and I don't
yeah,
want to.
I've heard that snow plowing is almost a completely different business. Um, that's what I've heard. We're down in Texas. We don't have a lot of snow. I mean, I lived in Illinois for a while, but I never had a snow plow business up there. So just, I'm not gonna. I mean, if you have the funds to buy a one of those shovels that go on the front of the trucks, I mean, you could try it. Um, but yeah, I mean, just I'd hate I just go back to the asset utilization. How many customer, like I would try to pre-sell it if you're going to do that, right? Like go out there and pre-sell it first before you go out and pull the trigger and say, hey, I need to have at least 10 customers before I'm going to go buy this, however much money it is for the shovel to get installed on my, because it's probably a few $1,000s, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's quite pricey, and that I'm definitely not just gonna go out and buy a plow and get it all installed and then be like, all right, let's go look for some customers. Like I'm
Yeah.
really, and I will go out like I did with, but before I bought my mower, like I will make sure that I have work before I really put money into it. But I didn't know if I should even really bother or if I should just kind of save up as much as I can with my other thing, and then come spring invest more in like advertising for mulch and just mowing jobs and stuff like that.
That would be smarter. I believe that would be smarter because you already have the framework and the foundation already built. You've got some customers already built. Saving that money and using that in the springtime for marketing is the best way to deploy your capital. Absolutely, I would highly recommend that. That would serve you better to getting those decals on the trucks, spending it in more flyers, and really pumping that out to get more customers this next spring. I think would be a smarter move. Absolutely. So
Okay,
cool.
cool.
Well, that sounds good, man. I don't mean to cut you off, but I think this thing will shut off here in like a minute or so. So
Yeah, you're
um,
fine. I can ask questions all night, but I got most of the ones that I really wanted to ask asked. So
yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you watching the channel, everything. If you have any other questions, I'm super active in the YouTube comments and stuff like that. And then obviously you got the email, media@militarylongcuts.com. So just let me know if you got any other questions or wanted to schedule another call down the road. I'm here to help.